with a K.
With a K.
Corredor, talking about the power of the spoken word and being in love.
My apologies that I had to follow two lovely women, and now you gotta look at me. Sorry. Also, I have a history of mostly working with animals and talking about animals, so it's my first go around talking about feelings in a public forum. Oh, thank God for that team. Good night, I love you, she said as she wandered off to bed. It was automatic for her to say every day before falling asleep or getting off the phone. Without fail, she uttered those words, no matter if I had guests over, if I was on a pony, or if we were alone. But in between those times, there were words she would never utter. I love you, I care, you make me laugh, or you make my stomach flutter. She just did not like to talk, period. Her silence was deafening in a way, often with no response with what I had to say, be it a joke, a comment, or a retort. Not if I talk about feelings, or comedy, or about something bleak. This one was silent because she liked it that way, any time of day, every day of the week. Sure, she communicated, she swore, be it by text or by touch or by slamming the door. I know she loved me in her own way, but in love, it's nice to have something to say every other day. So many times at home after work, I would try to make talk happen by dancing or by talking or by joking or being a jerk. I just wanted her to say something. Say the words, I thought daily. How can anyone not make a comment at me being this fucking crazy? Why did I propose to this lady, I thought 3 years into this thing. Oh yeah, I convinced myself that at 36, and still single, I've got to give someone a fucking ring and have kids and a house and an SUV and live next to people and that I don't even like and pretend to be neighborly. If I don't settle soon, I'll never go far. My mother and father will surely be disappointed if I don't get this done. I don't even want to hear from my other family until I'm married to somebody I can pass off as being my one. So she doesn't say much right now. I thought those first few months as we went out, nah, she's just shy, she'll come about. That's the story I told myself aloud for 4 years of my life, as I perpetually justified trying to make her my wife. I tried my hardest to overcome that lack of sound after work every day, to overcome that feeling of being alone even though she was often in my way. How I decided on this for a lifetime, I just don't know. I learned I need conversation to make my relationships flow. Sure, I talk a lot, and I do talk a lot. But I do so to make relation, not for degradation or perspiration. Talking is the main route I know for me and a mate to sink our souls, but all she needed was to sit next to me and breathe. How the fuck does that even work? Yes, relationships take time to build, but at this pace, I'll know all about her by the time I'm on 40 different pills. How did I not see the signs after 4 or 5 months that maybe sitting is all she needed for fun? It's surprising what we will accept when the pressure we imagine takes over our minds. I've always known I needed someone that will talk to me a lot, to accept my jokes even when she's distraught, someone willing to giggle and laugh every day, to take jabs back at me and match my abrasive way. I need a woman that knows my idea of fun, not someone that would take 4 years just to say, honey, I think you made me come. I need someone that's willing to say some of what's on her mind occasionally, that will say, you're silly, or you're a dork, randomly in a loving way. I need someone to express, you make me happy in so many ways, in the moment, on any given day. I need someone that will say the words when she feels it, any time of the day, and for no reason at all. Not just because you're supposed to at bedtime or at the end of a fucking call. So after years of trying to reach her soul, I took the ring off her finger and said, this union is no more. It may sound heartless and cruel, but I shed no tears as I dove back into the dating pool with no regrets. And no sorrow, I look forward to my new tomorrow. Fast forward 2 years after that time, I was finally involved with a woman that I thought was damn fine. She talked and laughed and tried her hardest to be in my space. She giggled often and took jabs in stride, always matching my abrasive side. What a great person I knew I had found. I enjoyed most of the time that she was around, but now I was reluctant to show that all I felt about her warmth, her humor, or her being persistent, that after four decades of my life, I'm the cautious one now, maybe a bit timid, restraining my love with a self-imposed speed limit. Relationships should be taken slow, I tell myself regularly. Don't ruin this by going too fast. Don't run this one off by being a fucking ass. Take your time. This one should truly last. As those thoughts perpetually circulated through my conscious mind, I fought to ignore what my heart could feel. Those feelings inside all of us that are truly real. I opted not to say those three little words that circulated in my head, words that relay what I felt shortly in my heart after we first jumped into bed. And why did I not, especially the way this one talked? Well, talk she did, but in doing so, her feelings were also well hid. No, not the way she felt towards me completely. Rather, she had hid the emotions that made her whole, the troubles and angst of her past life or issues she navigated that gave her strength through strife, the inner workings of a sudden reaction, or the reasons that drove a fatal attraction. Those talks seldom ever happened. She could text emotion for a country mile, but sitting and talking about issues brought out the reluctant child. So I paused on saying the words. We just need a little more time to cross this bridge. Before I say the words, I verbalized. Alas, it didn't work the way I visualized. I didn't say the words when I should have, I now realize. So as I spend time continuing to yearn for a chance to express to her a love that still burns, I can only tell myself, next time, dude, just say the fucking words. There's no book of instructions or pills you can swallow. Yeah, you can get on the interwebs, you can go see a counselor and follow someone's advice to make you a better woman or man. But in reality, none of us needs a plan. We need to show our human side in spoken words and in person. Say the words to your significant other, woman or man, cousin or aunt or uncle or brother, or even to your aggravating mother. We now have electronic devices and phones to hide from one another. We text message or post on social media to express ourselves, solve issues, or compliment each other. In this day and age, we must relearn the art of vocally expressing what is truly in our minds, our souls, and our hearts. Only through doing so regularly will this help us in society. Repetition is the father of learning, and practice makes perfect are two tried and true cliches. While none of us will ever be perfect in every way, we can at least learn how to step out from behind the gadget and learn how to express what we need to say. To give someone the benefit of your voice, your expressions, your gestures, that is what brings us together and helps us feel. To express our feelings in spoken words to each other is truly human and truly real.